Welcome to Legal Matters. Thank you for joining us. Today, what do we have for you? As soon as you join us, share the program for us. Thank you very much for joining us. Today, we are starting the program 30 minutes late due to an emergency. But regardless of what, we will bring you the program. Thank you very much for last week, for sharing the program, and for spreading the news. My name is David Dagger, Justice and Law Solicitors, double D to the power of 2. Today, we are going to be talking about BMI, Body Mass Index, healthy way to be in. Very, very important. Someone can be so rich, but yet so poor. Yes. I'm in Scotland. Oh, you're going to be a mama. Very yes. As soon as you join us, share your program for us. Mr. Amway, good morning to you. Wherever you are, good morning to you. Today, we have put BMI calculator. How to calculate your BMI? It's a very, very, very simple way to calculate your BMI. Mr. Kwesi Adams, good morning to you and happy New Year to you. As soon as you join us, share the program for us. How to stay in the UK legally on conviction of your steps. Mr. Alexander Oposi, good morning to you. As soon as you join us, share for us. Let's go viral. Let's go everywhere. Yes. That is Baby, yo. Yes, this song was requested by Ya Baby from Scotland. Osi yetie dum enye yene asamwa ana enom ensa. Yes, today we are going to be looking at BMI. Someone may say, hey, this is a legal matter. What are you talking about? Scientific stuff and BMI. Because it's very, very important within our community. Unfortunately, people are dying young, and many a times the death is linked to obesity, i.e. being overweight, cardiac arrest, and heart attack, stroke, and all these diseases or all these causes of death has been linked to being overweight. The question is, what weight do you have to be in order for you to be classified as overweight? I am not a medical doctor and I'm not a scientist, but this is common sense approach. That's the general knowledge. These are the basic things that if you apply, then by all means, we can look after our health and ourselves. Courtesy of Amway, Mr. Asian, I will use myself as a very typical example and the transformation that I have gone through over the past 4 years. And I'm hoping that by sharing my story, it will also encourage others to be conscious of their weight, to be conscious of obesity, the need to stay healthy. Because unfortunately, sometimes lack of ignorance and lack of knowledge within certain communities, when you try to use or you try to, stay healthy, it is seen as forbidden. It is seen as wrong. But today, I hope by the time I finish this small representation on BMI, the mindset will change a bit. Because at the end of the day, if people live in ignorance and nobody teaches them, how would they know? And it's not me saying it. The National Health Services. All that you need to do, go on the internet. And I have put the BMI calculator. You don't have to be a mathematician to be able to do this. And I'm going to pin this so that it's very easy for people to access it. And today I'm going to give a small demonstration of how you can calculate whether your weight, you are in a healthy range, whether you are underweight, or whether you are overweight. It's very, very important that we understand these basic principles of health. Not only that, today we are also going to be talking about those people with Euss settlement scheme and pre-settlement scheme. If there is a family breakdown, either there is a death in the family or perhaps there is a marriage breakdown. We used to call it the retention of EEC right back in the days. But like I always say, Lawyer Darko, I have always advised people against retention, i.e. on the basis of divorce. And I am repeating this. If anyone comes to you and say, Lawyer Darko is encouraging me to do divorce in order to maybe get my papers after 5 years, the person is a damn bloody liar. Because I know that that cannot be true. And the reality is this. Now that we are out of the European Union, now that we are no longer bound by European law, the Secretary of State for the Home Department can wake up tomorrow and simply say that retention is no longer applicable under our domestic law. And that is it. There is nothing that you and I can do. So imagine you take it upon yourself. You know, there's a small problem at the house because you have got it at the back of your mind that even if I divorce, I will still be able to get my papers. And therefore, I don't give a toss about my wife or about my husband. And you go ahead and you divorce. And tomorrow, there's a change in the law. Or whilst you are going through the divorce, there is a change in the law. And all of a sudden, you are stuck or you are caught in catch-22 situation. In that sense, who are you going to blame? Are you going to blame Lawyer Darko for sitting and minding my business? Or are you going to blame someone else? It's very, very important that we always update ourselves and educate ourselves. Because immigration and nationality law is one of the fastest changing areas of law in the United Kingdom. So the advice that I give today, tomorrow, it could be different advice. So if 4 years ago, we were talking about retention and how you can retain your EEC right, now we need to realize that EEC is no longer applicable in the United Kingdom and therefore new king, new law. And therefore we have to be conscious of this fact. You cannot come to me and say that, well, 4 years ago, you gave me an advice and therefore based on that advice, I am acting upon it today and I expect the same law to apply today. It does not work like that. Law changes and therefore we have to learn and also change. I will also talk about how to regularize your stay upon completion of your studies. Or perhaps you come in as a healthcare worker, your employers are not treating you right. You are asking as to whether you can switch your visa to another employer, as to whether you can switch your visa to another category. These are the questions that people are asking us. As soon as you join us, share the program for us, and all those who are engaging, all those who are commenting, all those who are sharing, we have set up, i.e. our system in such a way that we see those people. And as you can see, those people who are engaging with us, who are sharing our programs, I've made it upon my, I have set myself that at least every week I will send a message to these people to acknowledge their work that they are doing to help spread education and also to dispel ignorance. Someone can be rich but yet be poor. Someone can be knowledgeable but the person may lack wisdom. So it's very, very important that we do the best that we can, share the knowledge, and we are hoping that people will apply wisdom to the knowledge to make them a better people, better individuals. So today, and I will also be looking at what do you call it? Those people who have come in, and whether there is a way for them if they haven't been able to go to the school because of maybe school fees and so on and so forth. We'll be looking at that as well. Madam Scotland, yeah baby, baby I will be a chia. Or see a new way there, a yummy de papa. And Saturday, Bonyumi mammy, and say my bonyomono. Na empeni say enwuma de no eno na yeboto asumi no enti ma be bonyum we na be dey take opportunity enso na be dey share program no enti e share wie ye babaka ene ne ko BMI the BMI no be the calculator no at board ne so ohwe comment section from the NHS, and it's very, very simple way to calculate it. And if you are underweight, then it's dangerous. If you are overweight, it's even more dangerous. And with the complications that come with it. So it's very, very important. You know, our children, ourselves, our parents, we need to check their weight to make sure that they stay in healthy range. And I was very surprised. I remember 4 years ago, I went to see my GP. And the GP have to do what we call the MOT. And after that, the GP sat me down and said, Lawyer Darko, you are overweight. I'm thinking, how can I be overweight? I don't believe this. And then she sat me down and went through. And what, she taught me, it was a life-changing. It was, surprising. And from that day, I vowed that I'm going to be very, very careful about my weight. So what did I do? I bought a scale. So I started watching my weight. And what she said to me, based on BMI, body mass index, today I will explain this to you. I was able to monitor and also discuss diet with her. And in fact, I had to attend a course on a diet. Healthy diet, balanced diet, and a good diet. So sometimes it's very, very important that we invest in our health. Because if you don't, and you get ill, believe in me, no amount of money can buy good health. Be very, very careful. Your health is your wealth. Yes, obi benyawa na efiyare. So why are we not investing in our health? It's very, very important. When we come back, we will talk about BMI. And also, just recently, I had the opportunity to help someone to do a project about stroke. And through that help, I also learned a lot about stroke. Stroke. 2 types of stroke. How does it occur? And it's very, very important that we are all curious about these things and learn from these things. Let me play this tune so that I can share the program. And then when we come back, we will continue the program. Keep sharing the program. Don't touch the dial. Don't go anywhere, because justice and law solicitors, we are not here to talk only about law, but also to advise and educate people about their health. What good will it do to me, or will it do for me if I am, talking about law to the dead? I'd rather you are alive. And therefore, it's important that we understand body mass index, BMI. And when we talk about healthy range of weight to be in, then you can do the calculation yourself. You don't need a doctor to tell you that you are overweight. You don't need a doctor to tell you that you are underweight. But yet, I was living in ignorance until I went to see my GP. The GP did all the calculation. And after that, I said to myself, wow, I did not know this. There was a time that my waist size was 90. 90, I was shocked. But then again, I had to, work on it. Right now that I speak to you, I was 90 kilograms. But then I decided to do something about it, because no one can do anything about it apart from myself. 90 kilograms was my weight. That was seriously overweight. And therefore, I had to go on a diet and basically listen to the right people. And then slowly and gradually, I have come to the optimum weight, the healthy weight, and the importance of staying healthy. We will look at that, and the disadvantages of being overweight, and the risk of death at a young age. So many Ghanaians are dying because of overweight. And many a times people don't realize that overweight can kill you. Lack of exercise can kill you. Our diet and nutrition, wrong diet can kill you. We'll be looking at all this before we actually jump into today's program. So let's take this tune, and when we come back, we continue the program. Don't go anywhere. Share the program for us, because I'm going to use this opportunity to share the program to people on my list. Yes, thank you very much for joining us. Please share the program as much as you can. It's very, very important that we educate one another, we educate ourselves, because at the end of the day, education is the key, and the usefulness of information is powerful. It can only enhances you. It can only, help you in so many ways, the use of information. So for me, it's very, very important that we understand a bit about our health and how we look after ourselves, because at the end of the day, if you gain the whole world and you lose your soul, then what is the point of living? It's very, very important that we know a bit about our health, and also to be able to work out where we stand in terms of our health. So the first thing that I said I was going to be talking about is BMI. This is just a summary for us to know exactly what BMI is. BMI simply is body mass index, and it's a value that is derived from the mass and the height of a person. And basically, you can define that as a body mass divided by the square of the body height. So all this what does that mean? Or say you can divide this by the weight. So body mass index, the formula is very simple. Let's just break it down. If you want to know your body mass index, all that you have to do is to measure your weight, if you like, in kilograms. So you have to buy a scale, stand on the scale, and the scale will tell you your weight, how much you weigh. So for example, Lawyer Darko, I have measured this morning and my weight is 75. So now let's do this practical example so that we will all get it. So let's go to say, I have put the calculator on the comment section of the comment section of the comment or of the Facebook. So what you do, once you click on the BMI calculator, which I have pinned on the comment section, they will ask you your height. In the UK, we measure by feet and inches. In certain jurisdictions, they measure by centimeters. In Ghana, for example, they will say centimeters. I am used to the UK system because I am in the United Kingdom. So, and when I calculated my height, I am 5'11". I am not 6 foot yet. Maybe tomorrow I'll be 6 foot. So now, my height is 5'11". It's so simple. Just go on the comment section. You see the calculator. Just click on it. And you look at your height. You can buy a tape measure and then you can measure it if you don't know. But I'm very fortunate. I know it because I am a bit more conscious about my health. And today I am putting this out there in our community for us to learn. Because sometimes the ignorance is a bit too much. Where when you are fat and overweight, people think you are living better. You are dying. Be very careful. You see, you can't for a chacha. So we really have to be very, very careful. Where we give credence to something that is sentencing people to death. So we have to be very careful. So now you need to put your height into the system. I am 5'11". And I'm going to calculate this and show you the results. Whether I am underweight, overweight, or in a healthy range. So 5'11", that is my height. And then my weight, I have calculated it this morning. In this country, either you do it in stone or pounds. When I calculated it, it did not come up as that. It came up in kilograms. So when I did it, I was 75 kilograms this morning. So you put your kilogram in it. And then your age. My age, I'm not going to say it, but I'm putting in my age. And then all that you do, you put in your sex. Because whether you are male or female, also take, it's taken into an account. And your ethnic background is also very important. So I'm Black African. I will take Black African. And then I will move on to the next question. Activity level. Are you active or inactive? This is where exercise comes into play. So, they are asking whether you do activity or you don't do activity. And they are looking at inactive, on your exercise, and answer on your less than 30 minutes a week. The second is moderate active. That is, you do 30 to 60 minutes a week of exercise. And I say you are active. You do at least 60 to 150 minutes a week. Lawyer Dako, every morning I get up and I run. When you see Marley, the dog, he wakes me up at 6 o'clock. If I don't take him for a run, Marley will be following me until I take him for a run. So for me, I see Marley as a motivator. I see the dog as something that motivates me to exercise. Because sometimes it's so difficult, it's so tough. Because you look outside and it's so cold. And you ask yourself, why do I have to go in this coldness? But the dog will ensure that I do what? I go out and basically run. So I do a lot of exercise running in the morning, and I do more than 60 minutes to 150 minutes. So I will then tick that box, and then we look at, you press the calculate. So you do the calculation, you put it out there, and I will show it to you. My body mass index is 23.1, which is within the healthy range. 23.1. So I am going to turn around. I don't want to mess up with the camera. So instead, I'm going to use the laptop and I'm going to show it to you. This is my body mass index, 23.1. And I hope you can see that. I am in green. that means healthy range. If you are in yellow, that means you are over. People will say clinically obese. If you go to the red zone, then my friend, you have to be very, very, very careful. So this is how it is. This is what it is. Body mass index. And it gives you information about diet. How to make sure that you are okay. You see, so beating and coaching, justice and law solicitors. No lawyer will come and teach you this. But for me, it's also important that we highlight health issues for people to understand that health is also your wealth. And it's very, very important that you look after yourself. So if Lawyer Daku, I was under 18.5, then of course I will be underweight. That would be problematic. And if you are over 25, that is also problematic. But I am 23.1. And this is something that any and everyone can do. I know that men, sometimes we are stubborn when it comes to our health. We don't take good care of our health and we are not serious about our health. If you are a woman and you want your husband, your partner, your boyfriend to live long, you don't want him to die from heart attack, cardiac arrest, stroke, and so on and so forth, then you need to take the initiative. You need to make sure that he is living a healthy lifestyle. You need to make sure that he loses weight. Fat, is hiding in our bellies. Some men cannot actually see their properties because their belly is so fat that it covers everywhere. That is serious. And it's something that I just felt the need today to talk about that. Lawyer Darko, something prompted me to bring this issue into fold because the ignorance within our community sometimes, lead to our detriment and sometimes to our death. So it's very, very important that we are aware of our height, we are aware of our weight, and therefore you can easily calculate your BMI. If you are very good with maths, then that's what you need to do. If you don't have access to maybe internet, you can still do that without internet. All that you have to do is, one, measure your height. Measure your height. Once you measure your height, you divide it by your weight square. So if, for example, your height is 5'11", as I am, my weight is 75, as I am. So I will do 5'11", or I would say 6 foot. Okay, 6 foot. Divided by my weight is 75. 75 times 2. So 75 times, my weight is 75. So 75 times 75. And then you multiply it, because it will be height divided, weight. Now, it's your weight. Yeah, you look at your weight. Your weight is 75. And then you look at your height times square. Square it up. So my height is, say, 6 foot. So it's 5'11". But for rough calculation, let's just say 6 foot. So my weight is 75 kilogram. And then I will look at my height, which is 6 foot, as an example. 6 times 6 is 36. So 75 divided by 36 will give you the figure. That is the reason why we got this 23.7, 23.1. So it's very, very important that you do this calculation and you know. Because healthy range is 18.5 to 25, according to the NHS. So if you're able to do that, then of course, and you are in the healthy range, then fantastic. So I use my own as an example, and my own is 23.1. It's within the healthy range. If I'd gone over 25, then there is a problem. So it's very, very important that we learn these things and take good care of ourselves, because our health is our wealth. Being overweight has got so many disadvantages. Inactivity, not being fit, and so on and so forth, which could lead to stroke, which will lead to heart attack. So many, serious diseases that you can get. So I say, let's be conscious of our health. And if someone is conscious of their health, you need to encourage them. It's very, very important. So we will put that aside, and then we move on to the legal stuff. Last week, we talked about teachers who wants to come to the UK to teach. And I went through all the stages. But unfortunately, some people, when you give them the lead, I don't understand. They will not listen to it, and they will come and ask you questions about stuff that you have already spoken about. Last week I said that I will make it a habit. If someone come and ask me a question about something that I have spoken about, I will simply send the person the link and say, listen to it. Because if you want to capitalize on something and you don't really want to invest in it, then there is no point in going for it or in doing it. It's very, very important that we follow instructions. It's like going to the exams room to write an exam without following instructions. You will fail, regardless of how much you know. So what I would do, all those people keep sending me messages, lawyer, I want to ask you a question and all that. I will take my time and I will send the audio back and say, play and listen to it. Because no one has got time. And something that we have spoken about at length for about 3 hours, we also got things to do. And therefore, if you want the help and you don't want to invest your time in listening to it, why should I waste my time in repeating it to you for your benefit? So about time that sometimes you also have to be proactive in what we do. If someone gives you a lead, you have to be proactive and follow the lead. Don't sit there and expect the person to basically spoon feed you. This is Babylon. Nobody's got time. This country, nobody has got time for anyone. That is a fact. And this country, nobody will do anything for nothing. So it's very, very important that when you get the lead, you also put in the effort and the initiation or initiative to, to make good use of it. Because if the person gives you the information and you keep asking the person questions upon questions upon questions, the person will just simply ignore you. It's not about being rude. The person is also conscious of his time. Because the time that he's going to call you back and discuss again, he can also use that time to do something else. So at the end of the day, self-preservation, I always say, must always come first. Even Jesus Christ, who came to die for you and I so that we can have salvation. When the going got tough, he said, Father, Father, Father. Yes. Because nobody enjoys pains and nobody enjoys wasting their time. And therefore, it's very, very important that when the lead is given, we follow the lead. So if people are interested, the program is on Facebook. Last week, it is there. Last week date was the 21 minus 7, will give us about 14, was the 14th. And it's on Facebook, Fire Life Radio, Justice and Law, and David Dako Facebook page. It's also on YouTube. All that you have to do is to type in Justice and Law Solicitors. And you will see teachers who may want to travel to the UK. You have to make the time and listen. Because it's no good for me to giving you piece information. Because at the end of the day, giving you soppy information, by the time you start the process, you don't understand. You are lost. So we need to be able to educate ourselves properly so that we can do what? We can get a better understanding of the process. Because what is the point of having the visa and not knowing the process in which you obtain the visa? Many a times people come to the UK, they get stopped at the airport and they get sent back. Why does this happen? Because they are not prepared to learn about their own stuff. And then when it happens like that, they go and blame some old lady who is sitting at his place and minding her own business. Nobody accuses a rich man of being rich or practicing witchcraft. But yet, it's very easy to look at the poor old woman and blame the poor old woman. So now, what do we do? What do we have? Let's go straight to the topic of immigration and nationality law and the update. Baby fire, yeah. So Lawyer Darko, I've taken it upon myself over the last couple of years, 4 years. An Amway product. I use it all the time. You know, even breakfast, they have this cereal or they have this powder. It's called protein powder. All that you have to do is to add water to it. And, you know, just drink it. And you'll be surprised about the effect. You know, it contains all the food nutrients that you will need for your body to be able to work and function. You know, and then you watch your diet. You are careful what you eat. I sat down with my doctor and he said, David, African Caribbeans, there are certain illnesses that we suffer from. Some of them are diabetes, stroke, and heart attack. And when you look at these type of diseases, it's so common within the black community and the South Asian community. Why? Because we eat too much red meat that has been associated with some of these diseases. Based on medical advice, Lawyer Darko, I took it upon myself. The red meat, I have to be very, very careful. Even if you are going to eat it, be very, very careful and eat it in moderation. Even chicken, when you are buying chicken, you know the skin and where the meat is in between. Most of the time, there's a lot of yellow fat. Before you know, you are eating this into your belly. It's going to stay in your belly and your fat count goes up. All this brings you illness that sometimes you are not conscious about. I have really learned a lot about diet. I have seen the light. And therefore, I'm very, very, very careful of what I take in. You know? So be conscious about this. Someone may be like in the 40s and the person is so chubby, the person is so overweight, the person cannot even run. Unfortunately, among some people within our communities, we see it as good living. But my friend, it's very dangerous if you are overweight. It brings health complications. Just try to run and see how you will struggle to breathe. Is that healthy? In my books, I will argue that it's not healthy. If you are not fit, is that healthy? In my book, I will not say it's healthy. Now you know body mass index, how to do the calculation. Look at your weight, look at your height, square it up, and then divide it up. So in my case, I look at my weight. Now, my weight is 75. My height, let's just say, is 6 foot. 6 times 6 is 36. Divided by 75 divided by 36, you get a 23.1, which is within the healthy range. Very simple. And then you know where you stand. So it's very, very important that we all learn how to calculate it. Now, how do I stay in the United Kingdom after completion of my studies or non-completion of my studies? Before I dive into that, let me just give a brief summary of the new system that is coming for teachers, because every time I look at my phone, people are asking questions. We spoke about all this last week. I would first of all encourage everyone who is interested to go back, buy a bundle if you are in Ghana. Some people simply do not want to use their bundle to listen to the program, but for one reason or the other, they think it's okay to call you and for you to use your time and educate them rather than to go and listen to something that we have already spoken about. That is not fair on me. And it's not something that personally I will entertain. So all those people who have sent the messages, I have sent the audio back to them. Listen to it. And if you have any question, come back to me. That's all that I can do. Whilst I cannot change someone, I can change me. This is something that we need to understand. You cannot change anyone but yourself. And therefore, you can always, for me, compare yourself to others. If you are comparing it to make the good and better of yourself, that is the only time that you must do comparisons. Because not all fingers are the same. Even twins who have stayed in the same belly for 11 months, they can never be the same. Or 9 months can never be the same. Nana Duma kunya miche ne kana se. Osi sebe empre eduasa. Entafo empo a yenyim omo dakoro. A omo da ya efunu baakum. A ya wo omo dakoro mpo omo suban enye peda. And therefore, whilst you cannot change someone, you can change yourself. You have to look at yourself and say, hold on, am I underweight? I am overweight. What can I do about myself? And you do something about it. Because if you don't, unfortunately, you become obituary. The cemetery will be your sleeping place. A lot of people are dying young in this country, Ghanaians in particular. And sometimes when you look at the weight, when you investigate further, they die from heart complications. So let's be very, very careful and let's be conscious about our health, our weight, and our diet. That's all that I got to say in this respect of BMI. Last week's program is about teachers who may wish to relocate to the United Kingdom. And what I will say is as follows. I cannot help anyone to get a job. That one, I am making it very, very clear. Justice and law solicitors, we do not recruit teachers. So please, if you are passing on the information to someone, let the person know that Justice and Law is not recruitment agency. We are lawyers, and when you get your sponsorship, that is where we come into play. How do we come into play? So let me go through the process again with you. The process is as follows. 1, last week, I did put some agencies that are recruiting teachers from outside the United Kingdom. So please, all that you have to do is to go to Justice and Law Facebook page, go to Justice and Law YouTube page, go to Fire Life Radio Facebook page, or go to David Darko Facebook page, and you will see that all the recruitment agencies that are recruiting, I have posted their names and links on there. All that you have to do is to click on the link. It will take you to the agency's website. Don't call Lawyer Darko and say, lawyer, help me to complete the application forms. I cannot help you. Because the application form is basic information about you and your experiences in teaching. So for example, if they ask you the distance between where you teach and where your school is, don't call my office and say, Lawyer Darko, they are asking me where my school is and where I reside. I don't reside in your house. I don't teach at the school that you teach. So I cannot give you the answer. By calling me, you are wasting my time because I cannot help you in this scenario. So please, when we need to apply common sense, we need to apply it. Don't call the lawyer to disturb the lawyer for no good reason. I beg. It's very, very important. If you are calling the lawyer for a legitimate reason, I can understand. But if you are being asked the distance between where you live, where you reside, and where you teach, and you pick up the phone and you are asking me, what answer do you expect me to give you? Sometimes it's very, very frustrating for us because it feels like people are just wasting our time. You know, if genuinely you have a genuine question and you want to ask, we don't have an issue with that. But things like that, and you come and call, and the lawyer is busy, unable to pick, and you get angry as well. Meanwhile, you have not paid no jack to the lawyer. You're not being fair to the lawyer. So please, all that I say is this. When we come here and we give the instructions, try and follow the instructions. It will help you. Because what will not help you, I will not come here and spit it out. So please, go back to last week's program. We have put all the links of the institutions, the agencies that recruit teachers. Just click on the link, go to the agency's website, and they will ask you basic questions such as your name. Don't call me as a lawyer. They are asking me to write my name. What should I write? I mean, come on. Your date of birth, your address, your nationality, and basic information about you. And they will ask you to prepare your CV. So if you do not already have a CV, prepare one. And before you submit it, get someone to look over. Because CV is very, very important. It's your first point of call. The employer will look at your CV and then will then make the decision whether to arrange an interview for you or not. So your CV is very, very important. Any work experience that you have had must go on your CV. It's very, very important. Because at the end of the day, beginning, they will not know who you are, and your CV will determine, will persuade them or will not persuade them. So it's very, very important that you write a very good CV, or your work experiences, because this country, they don't really give a hoot whether you have a distinction, whether you have a first class, or whether you have, whatever. As long as you pass your course and you have very good experience, they are interested in experience. Because what is the point to recruit someone who has got a distinction and the person does not have a charisma, or the person doesn't know how to teach? What is the point? They're looking for someone who knows how to teach, someone who can do the job, rather than someone who knows it but cannot do it. So it's very, very important. All your experiences, you put it down so that it will go a long way to help you. So that is what I say. If after the interview they are interested, they will give you something called certificate of sponsorship to work as a teacher under skilled worker visa tier 2. Once you get a certificate of sponsorship, at that point is where you need to ring Lawyer Darko, and then you get in touch with us, and then we can then do the application for you successfully so that you can come to the UK and teach. It's very, very important that we understand this basic principle. So let's follow that so that we can also have enough time to do more research and bring you more. Because when we get phone calls, non-stop phone calls, and something that we've talked about, something that we've already given you the guide, sometimes, it causes a bit of issue for us, because you keep going back rather than going forward in order to be able to perhaps research into more areas and help people. So let's do the best that we can. If you pass it to a family member, tell them that they must listen to the program to get a better understanding of how the process works, because it makes no sense if the person doesn't listen and the person keep calling you back and asking you questions. It's annoying. Sometimes people don't read it and they will still lie to you and say that, oh, but I have read it. Meanwhile, they haven't listened to the program, and yet they keep coming back with questions upon questions upon questions, because they cannot be bothered to use their time to listen and get the right education. But instead, they think you have the time to be able to go back and then give them the information as much as they wish. It does not work like that. So when we are giving it to our people in Ghana, we need to make it very clear to them. They better listen. If they have not listened, they shouldn't call you, because many a time they don't listen, and yet they will come and ask you questions, thinking that you living in diaspora, living in Babylon, you have time. But yet, They are living in Ghana and they don't have time to listen to it. I understand the economy is tough, sometimes getting an internet, getting the bundle. Some people may have, challenges. But if that is the case, then of course, get family members to help you to buy the bundle and listen. Because at the end of the day, Lawyer Darko, I am looking at my time. I am thinking, hold on. If someone comes to me for consultation for an hour or 30 minutes, I'm charging 80 pounds. Maybe if you buy the bundle, it will cost you only 20 cedis. You don't want to forgo your 20 cedis, but you're expecting me to forgo my 80 pounds. It does not work like that. Self-preservation comes first, and therefore, I will put myself first and do what is in my best interest. It's in my nature. There is nothing wrong with it. And for me, I'm not going to hide from it. That is a fact. Some people may not admit it, but that is the fact. That is a reality. So it's very, very important that we are conscious of this and we are aware of this. Now, how to stay in the United Kingdom on completion of your studies. Some of our brothers, our sisters, have come into the country. They've done courses, and obviously, their time is up. They finished their course, and now they have to go back. Maybe for one reason or the other, they have decided, hold on, I cannot go back yet because I need to be able to do a bit of work and hopefully make some money before I go back and start a business. Some people are caught in that sort of angle, in that sort of situation. Now they don't know what to do. In this case, how can they regularize their stay? Now, there are so many ways, I will argue, that graduates in this country can apply for further leave to remain or an extension of their leave. The first one that I will be looking at is 10 years lawful residency. If you are a graduate in this country, one reason or the other, you have managed to stay in the United Kingdom lawfully for a period of 10 years, then the law gives you the right to apply for indefinite leave to remain on the basis of your 10 years lawful stay in the United Kingdom. Also, that is one route that you should be thinking about if you fall within this category. The next one that I will also talk about will be the graduate route visa. The graduate route visa, we used to call it back in the days post-study work visa. The graduate route visa also allows those people who have obtained indefinite leave to remain in the United Kingdom, and those who have obtained a degree in the United Kingdom, or masters in the United Kingdom, or PhD in the United Kingdom, and they wish to stay in the United Kingdom and basically do some work in the UK. This visa is valid for only 2 years, I must say, and after that, you may have to make a move and move on. So that is how it is. However, one thing that I will also say is this. This visa is for 2 years, and once you've done, you are expected to go back. Unless that 2 years would have also helped you to acquire 10 years leave to remain. And in that sense, you would then be able to do what? To extend your visa in that manner or from that route. The next one that I will also talk about is work permit visa. Work permit visa. So you are a student, you are about to finish your course of study, and perhaps you want to stay in the United Kingdom. In that sense, you can apply for a work permit, and the work permit route depending if you are a nurse, if you are a healthcare worker, a support worker, or perhaps the job that you want to go into is classified as a shortage occupation and it is listed on the shortage occupational list, then of course you should be able to do what? You should be able to apply for work permit in that respect. Not only that, there's also another visa called Scale Up Worker Visa. I don't want to go too much into details, but if you want to know more, by all means book appointment and come and see us. We will take our time and go through with you. And also something called the Global Talent Visa. Also, if you need more information on this, you can get in touch with us and we do the best that we can to get you on board. But the most common ones are this Tier 2 visa, Skilled Worker Visa. Or perhaps you have a child or a child was born in the United Kingdom and the child is now 10 years. And you can rely on that child. You can apply for British citizenship for that child. And then based on that child under Appendix FM of the immigration rules, you can also do what? You can also apply for the child. And once the child get their stay or their indefinite, then of course as a parent, you can also apply to stay in the United Kingdom. Another way is, for example, where maybe as a student, you happen to have a child and the child is either British or the child has got settlement status and you decide to make an application for that child and the child gets a British passport or the child has got indefinite leave and then you decide to rely on that child under Article 8 and also under Appendix FM of the immigration rules to apply for further leave to remain on the basis of having a parental relationship with a British child or with a child with limited leave to remain or indefinite leave to remain. It's very, very important that we do what? That we do get these things. So hold on for me. I've got a bit of an emergency here, and we will do what? We will continue the program shortly. Let me just play this tune and attend to this emergency. And yeah, easy. It's not easy being. Thank you very much. Why you get? Anyway, Bibia Air Costa Kama. Thank you for your patience. Airport Equanima you Ghana for Amokruma when you're very careful. Sebe say and tinte huru etua wotoa yenkos yenhuri enkotera eja. I don't know how much e was a kasa asemwi yemianum bi sebe ebe wuro masum mudi sua bibi akwanhia wo ho ana sometimes ne so no ensohwe so wo ho no akwanhia ene ensohwe sana mbeka no enti enye very careful because this phenomenon maka wasem already so na minimum the current Saturday nkwan so na aya na ewo ye hye Saturday anopa minim adekurenti aya say edine kran edine e heat enti no aya na heat e ba heat was enti no yenye careful pa say this is the second week or third week in a row be sure many phone calls munya problems baby no ebesi no ejane de aso ho enti oba na wa prepare obi kan ye o say unim de efri esro eba na nkwa ye de wa shedade eche de betimi aka no eja ombeti omoso omunti asemi ba na fellow ya da akwa menkwa mu na yehwam enti no sa na ebeko no se ensoke na se ebia I'm questioning na pare dia I can understand but obi ho a me say when you deaf wish ana opese ono ano ode niti ekotwa so enti onyankrata ni bia obe presa gise waji na ni so ense no hu se ewiase eye mienu enti no obi kan ye say ye tu shebre lemrim yesisa shebre enti de be kan no yes enti enko na topic ne so yenuanoma omukita settlement scheme and pre-settlement scheme. If there is a breakdown of the family relationship, and when we talk about a breakdown of the family relationship, where there is a death of the EU national, where there is separation, domestic violence can also bring a breakdown of the relationship between the parties. And in this case, what then happens to the children, to their partners, to the dependent relatives? That is what I'm going to be looking at today. Some of us, God has been good to us. We've been granted pre-settlement scheme visas. And since we got those visas, every minute we are going, we are traveling, we are coming, we are going. And basically, we just want to travel. No one can stop you from traveling. That is a fact. But no one can also stop the immigration officer from doing their job. And therefore, every time that you travel, on your way back, an immigration officer have got every right to ask you basic questions, such as, where did you go? How long did you stay there for? How did you obtain your visa? And if, for example, you obtain your visa through your wife, then they have the right to ask you, where is your wife? These are legitimate questions that they can ask you. And if your English is as good as mine, and you are unable to express yourself properly, this is where it leads to problems. You know, I have seen people whose visas have been cancelled, curtailed. I have cases before me that we are going through the courts. People have been invited to come to interview on the basis that they were not satisfied with the answers that they provided. Lawyer Darko, you may be my client, but if you give me extra work, I have the right to charge you extra money. Because anyone that goes to work and do overtime gets paid. And therefore, the same principles also applies to justice and law solicitors and Lawyer Darko. So, if it happens to you and you want me to help you, I'm going to charge for the work that I'm going to do. You cannot say that, but you are my lawyer, so do it for free. We all charge money. When you go to work and you do overtime, you charge money. And when you come to me for me to do a piece of work for you, I charge for that piece of work. I don't charge for future work that I'm going to do for you. And therefore, when you bring further work, I am entitled to charge accordingly, depending on how long it will take me to do the job. So we need to understand this, because sometimes some people feel that you are my lawyer, so everything has to be free. Unfortunately, nothing is free in Babylon. Now, lucky for us, the Appendix EU of the immigration rules at the moment is very similar to the European Economic Area Immigration Regulation 2006. There are a few areas that are not the same, but most of them, the principles that was used under the old system have been incorporated into the new system under Appendix EU of the immigration rules. So now, if you have a family member who has acquired EUSS family permit from outside the United Kingdom, and the person enters the UK, the person have 3 months from entry to apply for either pre-settlement scheme or settlement scheme as a family member of an EU national. The extension must be made before the permit expires. So you've been granted GUSS family permit, you enter the United Kingdom, you need to ensure that within 3 months you apply for extension. If not, you find yourself in a mess. If a child is born or adopted after 1st of April 2021, within 3 months of birth or adoption, then there is no requirement per se for them to apply within that 3 months. So there is an exemption in that respect within the 3 months rule, 90 days rule. 2, surrender sing principle. If the family members or if the relationship existed before 31st of January 2020, then of course the exemption of 90 days also does not apply. Also, if the partner, i.e. the EU national, i.e. Switzerland, the person is from Switzerland, as we all know, Switzerland is not part of the European Union or the European Economic Area, but they have a special arrangement in terms of free movement. So they will also be exempted from making the application within the 90 days, but it's up to 1st of January 2026. That must change. Secondly, if there is a death of the EEA national, then the rule is that the family member must have resided in the United Kingdom for at least 1 year before death of the EEA citizen or the British national, if surrender sing principle applies. So you come to join your father, you come to join your mother, you come to join your husband, and your husband passes away. Under retention, you can apply for indefinite, but it comes with conditions. The condition is that the EEA family member must have resided in the United Kingdom for at least 1 year before dying. And all family members who have acquired status under the EEA national will qualify to apply. And this includes dependent relatives as long as they are documented as such. As we know, some people did an application under the old rules, which is under EEA regulations, and because of the fact that we had to change from EEA regulations to Appendix EUFM, Appendix EUSS, Home Office agreed that those people who have been granted visas already, or those people who have applied under the old system already, they will be allowed to carry it over into the new system. And therefore, the new system, as we know, only covers immediate family members. It does not cover, what do we call it, extended family members. But because of the fact that some extended family members had already been granted leave under the old rules, they were allowed to move it over into the new rules under Appendix EU of the immigration rules. So they are also included. And all those people will be eligible to apply for settlement after 5 years, including any period that they have spent before the death of the EU relative. It's very important that we understand this. Settlement as the family member of a relevant sponsor who has died. The relevant sponsor had to prove, or you have to prove, that the relevant sponsor was a worker or self-employed at the time of death. The EEA national must be resident in the United Kingdom for 2 years prior to the death, and death due to accident or occupational disease. And family members live with the relevant sponsor immediately before death, and once the death occurs, they must not wait for the 5 years before they can apply for indefinite. So the first bit that I talked about is for people who were employed as an employee. The second bit that I'm talking about now is those who were working as workers or self-employed. If the person was an employee, it's only 1 year. If the person is self-employed or a worker, then you are looking at 2 years, but the rest of the stuff basically is nearly the same. Also, what if there is a separation or there is a divorce? If there is a divorce, this is where people have to pay attention and listen very carefully. No one is saying that you should stay in a bad marriage if it's going to kill you. No one is saying that. Things do change. And if you are living in a bad marriage, then of course you have the right to walk away. But if you are married to an EU national, and based on that, you have acquired your citizenship, your stay, your status, then of course, if there is a breakdown of the relationship, i.e. the marriage has come to an end, then you can retain your right as of today. But mind you, the law can change at any time. And therefore, people have to be very, very careful. Because it comes with conditions. There are requirements that must be met. And these are the requirements. In order to be successful in making an application under settlement scheme on the basis of retention, one, you need to prove that prior to the initiation of divorce proceedings, marriage or partnership had lasted for at least 3 years. The marriage will last for 3 years. That is the first condition. The second condition is that the parties must prove that they resided in the United Kingdom for a continuous period of at least 1 year, or the applicant has a custody of a child of the relevant sponsor, or has a court order granting him or her right of access to that child who is under the age of 18. And you prove that your continual right of residence is warranted by particular difficult circumstances, i.e. your right, i.e. the need for you to be able to stay in this country is crucial to the child. We've just done application and appeal last week, and this was the issue. The person has been granting 1 year under Zambrano, 1 year under Zambrano, 1 year under Zambrano. The person came to us and I said, no, this is not fair. They should have granted you indefinite because you have been on this queue for over 10 years. And Justice and Law, we took it upon ourselves and we applied for indefinite leave to remain for the applicant and the 2 children because the applicant was a mother of an EEA national's children and she was the one looking after the children. The father is not prepared to help them in any way. And in fact, the father wanted the papers to get messed up. So she came to see us and we said, no, under retention, the fact that you have separated, the fact that the children are EEA nationals or the children are EEA nationals' children and they are in full-time education, then under the settlement and the pre-settlement scheme route, we can help you. We did the application. Home Office came back to say that, well, you know, give some excuses. The application was refused. We lodged an appeal. Home Office looked at the skeleton argument and the strength of our, grounds of appeal. Home Office said that, no, Justice and Law, we are not going to fight you. We will give up. We are going to grant the visa. Home Office backed off. The other child, we did the application. Home Office said, no, fair life. Justice and Law, you are too powerful. We will grant the application. But the mother's one, they wanted to fight that in court. We went to court. They did not even show up. And no doubt, we are going to win the case. No doubt in my mind, I am so confident. So now, what about, let's look at another angle. What about if there is a domestic abuse or domestic violence? You can also retain your right if you are a victim of domestic abuse or domestic violence. But the reality is that when it comes to domestic abuse and domestic violence, you need to prove. You cannot just get up and say, well, I am a victim of domestic abuse or I'm a victim of domestic violence. you need to prove it. And therefore, in order to be able to retain your right as a victim of domestic violence, i.e., if you have divorced, that would be fantastic. And if you have divorced, you need to prove that the divorce occurred as a result of domestic violence, and you are a victim of abuse or violence whilst the marriage or the civil partnership was ongoing and subsisting. The family relationship has permanently broken down due to domestic violence or abuse, and you were resident in the United Kingdom when the relationship broke down. The difficulty when it comes to this type of cases, we are dealing with one at the moment. We've been to court about 5 times, and every time the case gets adjourned because my client is finding it very, very difficult to provide evidence of the wife's employment in the United Kingdom. And as a result, Home Office is being very difficult because they are fighting it. I can understand in some way why the Home Office is fighting it, because it's unusual for a woman to beat a man and for a man to become the victim of abuse or victim of violence. Why am I saying this? I'm not saying this because it does not happen. I'm saying this because culturally, women, and statistically, women tend to be more or less victims of domestic abuse and violence as compared to men. So if you're a man and you are saying it, sometimes people have their own doubts. I remember a case that I've been made aware of in Peckham, where a Nigerian guy was being beaten by his wife. And one day, he ran from the house nearly half naked, running on the streets, screaming for help, because his wife had beat him. So what then happens? The man had to run from the house and scream for help. And when people came to his aid, some of them were even laughing at him because they thought, this is a bit unusual for a man to be beaten up by his wife. In the end, they had to call the police. Police came to the scene and they advised him not to go back to their house. And they asked around if someone can put him up for the weekend and for the Monday for the man to go to the council and see if they can sort him out. So that is what he did. The man could not go back home because his wife had beat him up. And there are so many men out there who got beat up. Now you're paying for any sense of missing, you know. And don't you know, say, our bonnie, ne chiami, and a casatinting. The man had beat up. The wife had thumped him. You know, so the man come out, begged for help. He got the help. Police came in, police wrote their report. He started the divorce. And through that, the man had gone is indefinite. Because he was able to prove that he was a victim of domestic violence. I've got a similar case right now that I'm dealing with. The man was scared to go to that woman. Even to get a pay slip, the man said, no, me I go nowhere. So the man was scared to go to the woman. Me are limited to what we can do for this man now. So what can do? What can I do? So there is a powerful tool at the first year tribunal. And what may come to my rescue is the case of Euss against the Secretary of State for the Home Department. Why I call it? Euss is the president, where you cannot get information from the abuser, or where you think it will be unreasonable for your client to get evidence from the abuser to support their case. So we have made an application to the court. It's called the Euss Direction, where we have pleaded to the court that the Home Office have a memorandum of understanding between the Home Office and the HMRC. And when everyone works, we all know that, why I call it, that they do what? They have access, they can request for that information to be able to say whether the person was exercising treaty right at a specific period of time or not. So in this case, we have made an application for Amos direction, which has been granted. And now, the court has put it back on the Home Office to go and do what? And ask the Inland Revenue and get employment history, so that a decision can then be made whether to conclude that the EEA National at all times was in employment or not. So it's very, very important that we understand these principles. That aside, let's look at this as well. Let's look at this as well. Now, we know that there are at least 3 avenues in which we can retain our rights, even under Appendix EU of the immigration rules. But it comes with conditions, and we have to be mindful and be aware of these conditions. Don't go and sit anywhere and say, oh, you can do this easily, you can do that easily, because nothing is easy. You know, it comes with conditions, and you have to be aware of those conditions. And you can then do something about it. It's very, very helpful. So all that I would say is that it's something that we all have to learn, and we can then move on. It's crucial. Now, let's look at this. Now let's look at this. Now let's look at this. We have situations where people have come into this country on a work permit visa or skilled worker visa. There is nothing wrong with that. But some of our people are facing challenges. Some people have come in, the employer is no longer able to give them jobs. Some people have come in and the employer's license have been revoked. They are caught in catch-22. They don't know what to do. In this case, what can they do? Some people have come in where, for example, they are unable to make a living. Maybe their rent and their outgoings is so much that they wish they could do a second job. What can they do? If you've come in as a skilled worker and you are facing this dilemma, the rules within the skilled worker route allows you to do a similar job for another employer up to 20 hours. So for example, Wayadako, I've come into this country, I am working for A as a healthcare professional, and A is unable to give me the 38 hours that he promised, and as a result, I am struggling to make a living. The law allows me to get another job with B, healthcare professionals. So if I'm working as a support worker, the rules allows me to work up to 20 hours as a support worker for Company B in order to top up my wages and my money. One thing that I would say to you is as follows. Home Office have access to Inland Revenue. If someone sponsor your application and you come in to work for that person, and one reason or the other, you fail to work for that person, that in itself is a breach of your visa conditions. When it comes to extension, you may have some challenges, you may have some difficulties. So let's be very, very careful when it comes to these things. Not only that, if you come in as a healthcare worker or professional and you have any issues, any difficulties, then once again, you also have to be very, very careful how you go about these things. Because your visa, since it is a sponsorship visa, you are at the mercy of your employer. However, if you need to switch to another employer, the rule is that your existing employer will have to withdraw their sponsorship in order for another person to give you sponsorship. So I always say to people, regardless of what happens, try and be respectful to your employers. Even if you have to leave them, try and come to some understanding so that you leave in a good note, so that when the time comes for them to withdraw, they can withdraw at the right time for another application to be put in on time for you to secure your interest. If not, they can also mess you up. So let's be very, very careful. If you are going to leave, leave in the nicest possible way. I always say this. It does not cost you as a human being, as a person, just to be nice to people. It costs nothing, but it gets you far. When you are nasty to people, it doesn't get you anywhere, and it will cost you a lot, sometimes including your life. So for me, don't be nasty. Just be respectful, and, respect people. That's what I say. You may not agree with anything and everything that someone may do or someone may say, but mutual respect is the key. Today, I will also take this opportunity to talk about conditioning and ambition. Conditioning and ambition. What is the difference? Conditioning is where psychologically you have been fed with information to accept how things are. So, for example, sometimes some people feel that since you are my friend, my enemies should be your enemy. As you are my friend, if my enemies are not your enemies, that means you are not a good friend. It's called conditioning. You are being brainwashed. You are being manipulated, the dark act of manipulation. To think certain way, to feel certain way is called conditioning. Ambition is where you make decisions for yourself and you think for yourself. And you are able to push for yourself to achieve better and greater things for yourself. It's called ambition. But sometimes people get confused. They confuse ambition with maybe delusion. Sometimes when you are ambitious, people with low ambition will criticize you, that you must be crazy. What makes you think that you can do this, you can do that? And yesterday, I had a privilege of speaking to this lady who came to see me in the office, and I was so impressed by what she had to say. She's been in the country for some time now, and when she first came, the type of job that she was doing, and she said, look, I had to work so many long hours. The beatings in the job place, Patients are kicking you, beating you, abusing you, and it's non-stop and it's relentless. And you can never be right. And therefore, she took it up upon herself and said, no, I can do better. And therefore, how do I move from here to there where I want to go? Because she was ambitious, she did not accept the condition that she was in. And therefore, she made sure that she was not conditioned. But instead, she became ambitious. And how do you make your dreams, your ambitions to become reality? By working hard and knocking doors and exploring opportunities. Because the mountain will not go to Muhammad, Muhammad will have to go to mountains. So by pushing, in the end, she was able to get maybe another job in terms of salary-wise, and in terms of, job-wise and career-wise, is better job. Not only that, now that she's got a better job, she's been encouraged to do more courses, to better herself. This is called ambition. Don't accept your condition, because you can always do better. I know I can always do better. And I always look for opportunities to be able to explore. I am ambitious. Don't allow yourself to be conditioned to think certain way and to accept that this is all that you can be, this is all that you are, because the sky is always going to be the limit. Be ambitious. Where the tree falls, there shall it lay until the judgment day take its course. In the words of culture, also when you are dreaming high, non-ambitious people become cautious. So you must dream high, you must dream big, and work hard towards that dream, towards that ambition, towards that dream, and it will come to pass. So without taking too much time, let's open the phone lines. Let's take some questions and bring the program to an end at exactly 1:30. So we don't have time. If you want to call in, this is the time to call in. We are waiting for your telephone calls. The number is okay. My laptop is playing up a bit. I don't know what's happening here, but all the same, there is some update going on, so I cannot really do too much from here on the screen. But the number that you should be calling is 07538. Let me put it here. Hopefully you will get it. 07538 969 589. This is the number. Call this number if you have any questions or you want to contribute to the program. I've just put it there right at the bottom. If you want to call us, this is the number to call. So we are waiting for your telephone calls. This is the time to call in. If you're unable to call, unfortunately, after the program, I will not be available. We've got work that we need to get on with. So I will encourage you that if you're going to call, if you have any question that you want to ask, then by all means, this is the time to call. The number is 07538. Let's see if I can post it there from this angle. Okay, let's have a look. 07538 969 589. You can call this number. We are waiting for your telephone calls. So maybe I have to. Simema Ayuko yaye. Also Simema Ayuko. So person fra number na edia atudwa no. Baby, normally my telephone the atudwa no. And me say the system is playing up with me a bit, so I'm struggling to put the number up and to work it out. So okay, let's have a look if we can open this. Okay, that's fine. Okay, yes. Number nena a day journey so no. And to say open fry, you only about 12 minutes to bring the program to an end. 1:30 sharp, the program not a banner. It's a beer lines not to so open fry to an end. Open fry ubitimi afre. Number once again is 07538 07538 969 589. Ubitimi afre. Enti ye twa mo calls. Enti now so we also my memfa adefofro and twaso. Number 7 me dey enyom FM, but unfortunately laptop that we dey bonyom no e freeze. Enti ye find it hello. Yeah. Hey, mami so she got saba anything.
That's what we did.
Oh, Nyankopo Adam, ye papa.
But here for you, darling, I am about 2023.
That's right.
As about it does a make sana, maybe some question is a message. I would have one. Yeah, you lawyer all the time. Lawyer, my area, which I'm going to say. Then the Michelle, I think, the air can is halfway, the halfway, a young girl who said, who told him I want someone to one more. Said 2021 net year, 22 net year. Someone to one more. That's a what to announce said the Tenadama. And then I have a 23 months of Aquamia. That be the other side. Just a wood to one more. We are the four. So I do not know when in your war. This is all we are going for. So on Kata Seminar, which is a hour. You know, to one for. I'm not the AC and Sana that are no assessor. And this hour. The corona said 31st right here, first, so it's a time, watch, seconds, minutes, hours, and a day. That's after was in our training, they're coming up. It's a woman one to more, no Jaffa, said the tear and the message say, wow. Don't hesitate, but more than to an office. I think what can force you, go to lawyer. Yeah, you come to say. Lawyer no be on channel. Who got an office now? Cow hard channel. I bet you say ABC today. Fabra. Who ya bank to idea? Did you have a question? Did you say? So only who go out men so corners or when I said what's no a niña swa. I don't know what to do. I don't come and want to turn your marriage to the busy idea. Obey ya. And I'm on 2 hours, 2 other months when you're granding. I come over to the years with young Kata. But you was a set to Sana Mono. And then I just said, what's the set to 2022, number 2023? I said, oh, how much one animal to know it's a part of the year. A best happened, messing up with your phone. More beyond Ferry, and I said, I am shit. Come here, I mean, who could not book appointment? Competition fee, who could hear Kakrabi, not about Kalas and Chirana, and Yaku take Tiwasam. No bizarre question, no answer, no so bizarre question. Opa there. On any power to bizarre said be able to be said. As long as I want bizarre, I don't consent to idea. As a reaction, I don't bizarre. And yeah, look at the assembly weapons and assembly arrangements. Because you're all going to say, and we young, as well be a bit plumber. And you don't let me come on all kind of where I remember most of us walk on the ground. Look at me here to say they want you. Now come over here and they say, Dimestre say, wow, how to have a monocona. Oh, yeah, I can say, you know. Our dear, yes, I can take it. And I'm amazed coming here back in my daddy. Or the who I say, Dimestre, wow, Jamako, not very trainer, and that's summer. No, I must have gone with the music and say, no, what was it for me and son, nine. How many I had next for? But I mean, most of the time, in share program, because sometimes I say, you can't answer the rabbit. Agents now, more link, you know, still means a young kind. This is Osaka, and our mama for the name is a young kind. It's necessary, Osaka, I mean, I catch because me has a million one or passing from now.
Okay, and then what I'm going to do is lucky for you, and the system is back now, it's working now. So what I'm going to do is agency may babe cut it, not comment section beside the aboho be. At the same time, so no, say oko last week program now, the last week now, beside the aboho. Oko Justice and Law, Fire Life Radio, and also David Darko Facebook page, so to make it easy for everyone, I'm trying to bring up my system again, but as updated itself, the ama you slow haka kramami. But your program now, message the abo Facebook page one more. And yes, I saw my who number me send them direct. And to all that they have to do, this is how the process work. And you're very important. I say you better process nasi. Process nene say you be call agency no. The first contact have to be between the applicant and the agency. Obi frame me, ami be frame me. Or say lawyer. Na me ba enti me pa adwuma ma me ba ana so ma me abrochi yenye sa Ghana na okwa na me ko pa adwuma ma me ba na whom you know na sa na ma no abrochi ma oba na nye active na employer ni hu se oba na ni abre so mo na wa ma enipa na nkohwehwe na wa ko di ani mu se na me ba no one will take their child for serious because at the end of the day when na wo pa adwuma no to na say we show say you are serious rather than say, oh, my man, me yema. And personally, that alone, crown, me employer, it put me off. So, why say, oh, pay Juma, my man, never should you, mamma. And sound right. And me make us say, a beya, Shrawobano, as a mammy, and I say, Eja, a quine need, when I say, will make it the next first step. How do you make the first step? You get in touch with the agency. Made a link in the Bemau, and we get in touch with the agency. Or when Becca say, a beer, do what? Or Becca say, beer, or Becca say, a beer, or Becca say, a beer, patch of ever, or Becca say, a beer. For receive bra, ye hear this basic information. Now I dear, wait me the aquacom. Enti almost share information ni mu here. At that point, Anna Ombeka say A or B. Ye before an answer yem foul. Omu fawa, mom, employment contract, any offer of employment. Ombesa mom certificate of sponsorship. I find a course certificate. And the more we hear, then the next time they say, over contact Justice and Law solicitors. Now I feel yetini idea, yetini aye application or idea. Not just a wetini idea and move on. And that is how it is. And to yetini will be a first date of doing the application, getting in touch with the agency. All that we can do is to tell you, say, agency A or agency B, and a recruiter. And you would then have to contact the agency direct. When second agency now I much sure the essay we had been here, now normally you do this by presenting your what do you call it, presenting your CV and basic information. Thomas second they wouldn't do what they would then basically they would then give you the place. Since on second place in area, that's it, and that is where we come in. And it's very important. Now agency now a war Justice and Law Solicitors Facebook page. Ube scroll akodan kakra. Na sisi akra meko yi mehu. One of the agencies now adzuna.co.uk, adzuna.co.uk. And me ba betwa na me dia bo comment section hono. And you won't say a straightforward link. To mess around with one thing now the mebusi now with the account. Because the new program.
The same agency last week, yeah,
that's right. The same agencies now. Who say agency no? I am Santa we can say personnel.
Yeah.
No into kwa effort and control for different jobs. And the open website say what type of job are you looking for? And the ABA or your healthcare professional, ABA or your nurse, ABA or your pharmacy, ABA or your lawyer. Now, what about Asha said, this is the type of jobs that I'm looking for. Ubun said, Ebebaso. Now, what you say, we are recruiting for ABA support workers. And to say, we are nurse, once you are above support worker, and therefore you can work as a support worker. To say, so above from Bayer Juma or for fine, then you apply. As a we are nurse, you work as a, you are applying for support worker. You are happy to, and therefore, you can then ask them if they do sponsorship. When the catch will say yes or no. On your sponsorship, I say I'm based in Ghana. I'm looking for sponsorship. Can you sponsor me? I say yes or no. Say yes or no. Now we baby a week na. Enti abane sana na che say oswetini idea apply. Ehun ehia so ba ko apply e wa bra omonye ye fe sponsorship. Ebane sana wa waste time. And it says here no makate a paste ni nyina e wo comment section hodo. Enti me frɛ mo mo na mo busa nyina no e wo comment section ho. Okɔ hɔ no ma e wo hɔ no ma Azuna CV database etwato so sa besra mo. Mo kɔ hɔ no ma ni nyina wo hɔ no mo. Aya e ma life e easy my.
Enti no ampacho. Enti in this case no. Ye na ye pese ya de boa ye busa for Ghana no. The ebetimi say ye de link ba ma busa for Ghana. Mo ye nurse for no. Now, more to any agency no, and as a one feeling, yes,
you cannot get involved. Argentina, you cannot get involved because government, in the past, have realized they say when there is a third party involved, ubun's a third party now could you be sicker. Now agency is new motion. Afena akoye NSMP. Patrol making what I say. Until lawyers we don't get involved. And until now, obi contact here. Yes, there be one kasa contact or more direct because obi pay juma mobi. Until now, who pay juma? No, next time we chase when you break or pay juma. Until you have to contact the agency. What we have seen here, all that you can do is to give them the lead. Now, sometimes I'm meeting say, what many penny lead, No, not was a pay juma man. It does not work like that in this country. And therefore, why you delete na man na we nurse no. Una e bi okra ka be courtesy phone call. Call the agency up. Oh, hi, my name is John. I'm based in Ghana. I understand that your agency is recruiting for nurses. I am interested in working in the UK as a nurse or as a support worker. Do you have any availabilities or any vacancies? Oh, yes, of course. My name is, Linda. Send your CV to me. Go to our website and register. And then you do it. You don't call your dad, you don't call your family member and say, go and do it for me. Once you do it now, they will get in touch with you and they will do an interview through the Zoom. If they are interested, you are able to, to convince them. Then, of course, everyone is looking for a good worker. And then they will give you the job offer and also certificate of sponsorship. Once you get that, that is the point. that the visa application comes in, that is the point that you call lawyer Darko. So na affiliate aye bibia ma na bibia atoto so kama. Enti agencies no oko comment section ho a me dia to no because a doors nti obehu se unhu ni nyina ba ohwe enchen a wonsi atro mo o press mo na ayi ni nyina ba ebi ho no ma omo link no e show blue and you click the link ni so na be call omo website ho no and a very very simple process enti na ye be srem so the mo bi a chirichiri ni because obi be friend me a enya de a menya time akọ back asabe chirichiri ni pedi mu because enkrofo be brave obi aka asem na che no ontie no obefrew enti menya ne sen ana me impress him ana menya de masa they need time to teach people that way enti obesra wo say omo ya omo putting in effort no so no omo and try because about this na e be na ye ni ho kra say be ye topic no because agrophobic disturb was wasu dwe pra wunya so esa na ne ha dwene kakra enti obesre the link is there. What's it there? The link is there, and all that you have to do is there. You know, just press on the link and just get on with it, and you know you'll be fine. And you know, Osha link na at Zoom and starting. Osha for more, I want to say trust more. O press more na. O want to say agencies ni na to so. And you best remember, your fan is any side. I don't worry na. Now you see it me your time. I hope say it explains everything.
More than clear. Because we are only a time to mission via the net. Question maybe said it's a minimum which are putting more than clear.
Yes, yeah, that was a pa. And your question, busa. My explaining. Now, where the MSA, this will be my last explanation. It's your best friend. What do you busa? No chance of Uncle Fellow and Uncle Hano. Or you're a very busy person. Because sometimes, you know, Senipa Nantiasia, lawyer dark or barber free, or friend secretary far, you are not the lawyer, so I'm not speaking to you. Anna a hard dinner can't. Yeah, that's it. Bye bye. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Dr. Lawyer Darko.
Hello, good afternoon to you. Nampacho, one day, Casadini said I can say free.
Pacho, me David Victoria, I'm Casa Free.
Oh, him Victoria Lee's uncle.
Pacha, Malandi.
Walandi, that's right.
Do you want real food ready in 30 seconds?
Wait a second.
2 weeks, my friend. And I'm a question about my passport.
Right.
But Namiadum, you're telling me now, I'm a fast super come. All the passports now pregnant, and it's me Friday, I was sick. I mean, shop.
Yefa na se emenyame onu say o de ne kra ye adwuma eno ano no so Bible say Jevene say obedience is better than to sacrifice. When say your mouth instructions you follow the instructions and you are got to your destiny. Problem within our community is following instructions. O ka sem nipa no na de hye na dwene mu no eno ano so repeat ma.
Oh yeah.
I so one. Ana humeti o. Ebu a wutimi kasa sa na wabre. Wo se Latin America na. Me se udru ha jampo. O se o midru amenanti. Aya de ebe boa. Enti no yes happy. Say you follow instructions. A part of life. Udru baby no because say udru ha jampo a. Men ko ka say oh midru ha no no. Na enso bi ani ha enti man jampo enti me wiare ai would the control ka say jampo there have to be a reason for it enti no I na very important me wa client bi ne manager friend I thought ana busa say ba they say o se manager ne man instructions bi na akoya de foforo ana manager say look did I not tell you to do this? I say I thought I say look at this, you know, you see swear words. And everyone more I said, don't tell me you thought. Mr. I thought. Everything I thought. You thought what? Just do what you are told. Not me say. Magini ya me say. Na me gene say. Jadi panika no. Ufi se den panika na ento asuma busa no nesiki clarification. Because before so obey instructions no na over but aye bintia or they can say asem natural. And sometimes no, the what dream be no, ebia enye sample na eti. So enti na be sremo e kromwa abrosha ye wone die me free say madwene ye me say ye mfa nka asem de ye se ye no eno na ye eti se oye adwuma o care home say I feel sorry for perform ye adwuma wo and some meeting every day say adwuma na bia me ka meeting nye because abuse ni too much obi abuse na se ukobi ono kaka bibi pe na de wo beka no enu mbom adane ayi ye fe ne say asemama so minimum obi a ya bot na sum ama na ni nyina ye gon enso e ba ye mom sa de asema to ne so e say or you're violent towards the patient. How? So, no, I careful. Training a diamano, okwa no de so. Yes, so be aggressive, so report. So make attendance notes and make attendance notes. Men ko kase na me feel sorry for no enti man chroshi and to one. Actually be obo ani so a. You better say there is no history of violence. Enti and now obo ani so aye gon no e ba ne say ana ene de also aye violent enu nti yenyi wuni ebia bibia ko kan papa nka nye grede udi bim enso na ba bedi fo enu bi no because your child says oh share patience if there's any incident report it enso umia and report obeka cho say na madwene ya me say na me free say next time no obebo ani so uti achia ama wanim abehwe wachi na wachi abehwe wanim wo hwa de a wapire ho I am a Tigana for us. Oh, that Sandana dear, but in a never make keke. Hey, Massa Chotu, Nadacha Semunti, and then penny forcing your doctor could do a jam home. Says your case be for employment tribunal, wouldn't they see? Mammy be a pleaded discrimination. Only company been an a year, Juma. Now, dear boy, they say, or call first year tribunal. Omuto assembly gui or ye appeal wa we ne we ma de gruntia because or ye complaint in the past about bullying and discrimination enti eno ba apode ko appeal no akwa we ne ti anya sa complain na nke no no oh enti no bibi ye ka say recorder e very important so be record the same ma we go that you assembly or if vulnerable, now are coming to record it. What do you record when you're vulnerable? Then at least there's evidence. So one for oh, and actually, when you do a broido, you enjoy it. Exactly. And you know, you're very careful, putting on me more careful because someone met you do a venomous room. Look, a dangerous job. A very, very dangerous job. You know, and I be quite wrong near report to my care commission. So, no. Just I want to be near within the sector. No bidding the Musu Ababeka, no as what do a bush in our Manu Adriane was oh, until now, I careful. Train your dear man. Yes, BBC record, no record, incident report, no record, and yes, we in Pabonini, but that chance a winty. The best show will be. Also, yada wase ese yema wa kwankyere na wo di so na ede asomdwie abrɛw na wo nsa aka de o hwehwɛ na me kwa ya fa so ama wonya bi aka free sa de ye no eja but and one it doesn't mean so they must free the next question is also say what 10 year rule is no and then we keep 5 5-year route and say oh switch aba I was say oye English test and number 2 I was say utimi prove say one kasa wo bitimi ahwe wo unko rely on aban bia so and you know say benefiting some wom dia you don't go to the 5-year route so benefiting some nim na wa ye wadwuma na say we English test in there. Now say you are the main carer of a British child. You meet me switch about 5-year route in this one. Why? Okay. That's right. Why? That's it. Victoria. Bye for now. You best say why? Sanity. But my bar so be a sick should go to sir. Tino, Anna was would be up on your senior Bia and your Bia. ya da kon so de omomuni no muni be pesika kokko otumfo nana nanme oba no in the 50s ye peten in the 20s sa ne ekoyeri ya da sipi ma Victoria yes mo am friend no so mbetini afre ye go so twa mo ye timi amfa bi mo call na obi ejina so nti osusu betini afre number no still 07538969589 double D to the power of 2 justice and law solicitors ana edeji wedi ebremu. Hello. Good morning to you. Number chodi di say like say free. Esther Lees. Esther Yonkwe.
But all I was near my power. I mean, so, no, I bought it. A patch out and a person because I say, Mewaha, you could never find you could in a family figure and buy more mean definite. I would pray now or Holland you would free her. So, Cockra with her. And your mammy, you know, first one on the wall, on the wall, a car 5 months and son of Mikuno. Or back home, I know enough 5 years. It's a colonel man, British book, but me, you know, I won't change or more dear mamma. Now, they man of call. Now, Colonel Swan 8 years or call 9 years. Me, since I said this, I said, free waiver, no, let me, I be a man. Me, I can't let me the lady and I be a man, my divorce.
Why a divorce? Okay, so why a divorce? And to say the fee waiver, no, are you looking at applying for British citizenship? And I say you are applying for, you are looking
at British citizen.
Okay. And they say okay, indefinite. I bet me apply my Obano. And you know, you can also apply for the fee waiver. The fee waiver, no, you need to demonstrate. You say your circumstances is exceptional, i.e., you don't have any means in which you can find the money to apply to basically pay for the fees. And to umbeje bank account, all your bank accounts, look at your expenditure, how much money you spend and what you spend your money on. And then they will do the assessment whether you qualify or not. And you know, yes, whilst you can apply, at the same time, no, you need to look at your bank account. So when you'll be a seeker, free, baby, better to account to media, and you make out yourself, don't even waste your time. Because you know, be honor also in this and so they be a scanning an account to Musa. Ubusan say explanation, so untimi explaining. Obi be woman and saying, was sending £5,000 to Africa. Also pay fee waiver. Uniska. And so when you're 5,000, send it to Africa. How are you going to explain this to Bruni? Esa what you are impossible. Many of Bruni no crack a mean for you. Oh yes. I say you're realistic about these things. And so you send £5,000. No cromwa, any per say, and all £5,000 to do my account. A bonus ana a moment and wundi. So we are here my bank account no ensu ehiafo su
bank account
so obu so yo hiani enso the bank account esu sikafo su ubehwem oye shopping wa Harrods ubehwem Waitrose la da committee am yo hiani ubehwe Lados ubehwe you know Pampan shop when am yemi shopping and no na ohu a obeka say akoye hia no ma me hu ne mobo. So entino sana etie entino eso bank account no it must reflect your story. That's right, because your chrome ye chomo psychology o obetimi a show bank account obetimi a check the type of person that you are. You'll be surprised. So more entino information tells stories. And to say, yes, application, I am making sure, say, your account, it reflects what we are trying to portray. That means, you say, as an account, let's say 6 months. And to say, for this Google account, Momunjai, now build account for 6 months. And you know when the iron is hotter, now if you go to media call, oh, says you make a me bia mobi. Or buy a machine account in him, say my money for a call. Won't you build the account now? Forget it. Because as a lawyer, no, say meaning to me ain't mean justify the cost of account anymore. How do I expect the Home Office to approve? And to me church and man a quantre, and pass so quite the homework. After the bank statement, Baby, I may share me say, whether you're farm or partner, just say, heading. So, and as a lawyer, no. Almost pay up to 6 months. And it's a whole application in now, and a year 21st of January. You go back to 6 months until December to January, until January to December, December to November, November to October, October to September, September to August, August to July, and maybe July to June. Now when you're 6 months, and no, you may boost out for anything. Yes, I count a look sound. Now you're convincing all your bank accounts, they will do what they will need. And on cotton on your credit score, obi o honoma, or buy another account in BBC. Yes, and you know, oh yeah, oh no, my account in your bank statement to show say your household income no a nail point and so but to be all back no or the another account of question baby or yen account be 10 what the idea I may be more home obi or bad no be was all lawyer no say contractual after what the idea ne be kono Home Office for say Equifax credit facility have advised us that your client also have another account with Monzo. Account number ending with 052. Hey, I for a client and I will say, hey, I don't know who here. What is it in a honor? Yeah, after a bank statement, it brought any baby you. Ain't lawyer Benny? Who can trust your lawyer from beginning? Ya what you are, was a lawyer Benny? What do you call show? What do you call show? What do you call show? Meno de call. Then one was a master lawyer Benny. You see. Enti ana high penny. Enti eba shrama ye nuano. Ebi wa ye can be serious, but utu anamo a SOCC wechi. Said ya o ya e de credibility ebebrew. Na lawyer ne so unkogu n'anim ase.
I'll show you. Me question about compassion me divorce no. My year I say me Home Office for me me de more na say me application na me mediation.
Opa wo your application na wo the account. Opa so abeti aye copy. Eddie Aquacomo because a honor original choir maybe.
Okay.
Why?
I'll show you.
Anna, you don't even need to tell them. There's no obligation to tell them why you divorce.
I'll show you.
Why? Okay. Yeah, that's it.
God bless you.
Bye bye. More money young women almost betting your friend and Mr. 130 and Bompo Quacobo 2 and Tiana the fast name for Judian Emran de Vie. Na amount for omo twemede enye easy o amount for tata me ankasa enti no de mame frɛ ma mission twi kasa back na afei ne yehwɛ de ono so ede ba na afei yem koye ni sanet ye hello atia donko abelande yem koye atia donko. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's it.
Yes, sir. That was it.
And can't assembly were free the abba. Now also my sumo boy. Now said the old can't say mammy for big mamma and Nick at the idea. Finally, the connection. I'm a better yes or no. Young Paddy, you will quiet. BBI at the Cofo, so. When you find out the Cofanasono, or also Najala or any view, yes, Grandmala. I tell Mutia, Monia, the airport. Tenia, onion adaji, aboka, no have a brain aisika. Munya on any. Now, some coffee will be so. Maybe I near man as a sack. I was a sack. The answer himself, and that I could dear, and that what they are no credit, I know they are taught. They are no affair near Abba, Nayan Say and Capra. They say no more behind chance, so nem ready be nem pahon. Or photo customers use bike when the iron is off. Mama Cabo for Bata. I brought a jack of Brikunam didn't show.
That's right.
Yes, Kaya will be a limit at Samana, or maybe you will be our only free, no one and them. Now you crew master won't send a quine. Now once I could get on a bedia or bebre, which you better. Montreal, no more so as an I dear back to say, Yemupi, the Empadisia. Sanya, now will come up to me. You say, the same day, best in the WhatsApp, we could have with the name Ubi. We are there, no, they come moving with the Yaman. Mommy, young Padisia. Nayan Sia dear, Nayan Gunubian. As you see any fine and Yama connection, a fire say, young Pessa, minimum Pessa is Sia dear. Young Pessi, no, before this. No, child, I didn't be no known to me, Yano. Now I will walk on our booty. We are Miss Lam. Only that's here for so I.
Yeah, that was a pea.
Don't die, the child, yeah,
Mefrel. Mammy, see, she casa, a son of Motin and Cano. Yama me bako pet. I didn't work room one more. A Brumankuma was stretching Abua, Yintimi M. Sign a cheap, and Tonoana Eja. Yesenechi ana oboboye to enkakra. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Na pacho di di sana kase free.
Me pacho me di Abigail me kase free children Bristol.
Abigail from Bristol. Yanko Abigail.
Papa me pacho nyame nshua ni edi kan ye rade nya okese no ma oni mu di yanko etri.
Amen.
Me and a bad UK. Nanyami and me a registered nurse. But not me a try means me job offer in money before school life. Me 3 years before. Or University of Kent offering health and social care. Dada, when it's your free gun and bar, both in a whole back and your crumb of frat. If your mammy did loan, it's me school fees now, nothing to me. I don't mamma money deposit. But I'm mamma the bank statement and supporting the application.
Yeah.
My do. It's not a bomb. I says any and walk and met you year. Let me sponsor a stretch this summer. Now, if you're the year, chairman, mania, let's say a free school, no. I say, may Oma withdraw my sponsorship into your money 2 months. Name say me were in the process of changing visa now, a permanent thing see it will UK now, many problem. And yes, as I said me now, almost sent the letter. I have February and March. No, said me sign a coffee. Anytime Miss me free shoe, and so nothing. I didn't try and I said, be or what. There was me up one me, a man of the say, many I am to talk. From English language, no much sure, no more person, but me in an aspect. Me a registered nurse and me pin, and be the same me when you're dada.
Okay. Me the links, you know, it be up to your friend is saying, Osha comment section, honoma. Me the links need be up to honoma. Now, what you do is you have to approach them. I say you are looking for healthcare work as a support worker because you with your qualification I want a bro healthcare worker so, but you the BB need pay BB, and no a bit easy to get that employment rather than as a nurse. And you know, ombetimi as sponsor now why what switch visa no. Now, as my kind you touch me, what I will also say is them there to no try na contact you. On top of that, send me a text message. Ebra phone ya so. Na me ni woni enkomo fufuru bi so. Why? Okay, that's it. Thank you for calling. Okay. Now, and then I tell you, can see on Facebook.
Julie.
Oh, okay, Denson. Okay. No problem. Okay, no worries. Oh, Rebecca, sir, thank you very much. Okay. Asemo. Krumwa Eddie, papa. Obi won chire na metimi anu aboa no ate. Ti se wo hwe na se wo baby a connection bi da na tia efense tia 2 healthcare visa ni bia mesrew ye nua ba yi sesi ama ni 2 months pe ye ntimi amoa na asema ba se do si kan ensem no bosia obo ye ode ba ye bosia nkura wo mu chese heart breaking enti mesrew mo so wo adwuma wo ye adwuma o baby na so mo fa sponsorship ni bia frelo ya da ko mesrew pi nem yi hint ne mami na ye nua ba ye ntimi sorting it out because if you are said there Bible ne kan ye wo se odwan a wote ase no ne ho e wo mfaso esen sebo anase jata wowo enti ye nua ba eti ase ye mo ano ma ye ntwen e ma ho kire ne ma ense ne se ne aka se yihu ya nke ebo ano ye mo ye ho mode ni ntimi mo ano ne ne ekine ya medamase nim se mo amutie nyina ba wo baabi na se connection da wa wo be yi ama me na me se yi ama no na watimi di akonanim. Hello,
good afternoon, Roya.
hello, good afternoon to you. Na pacho wa na ka say
I try Mama Mary Boatma.
Mami Boatma positive mami ne ekone say ebusuafo no bia ho ye.
Bia ho ye na mo so e.
O Nyankopon adom ye gina so.
Ana hen kan so ho ye.
O bia ho ye pa.
Nyame ase. Na Roya, me da wa sibiti so wa frame back.
No problem.
Na wa o ka say na wa frame the phone wa frame the ana se enya no kware. Na Roya, pacho wo e me te say and now what the exercise any weight any blood pressure the tools.
Yeah.
Why are you papa? And you are here 80 na you because you are penant here.
Yeah.
And non here you are here wouldn't here. I will go out and not here no I so sweaty. So what would I know so
Yeah.
but you know here you penant here.
Yeah.
And no you any idea no. May I be because one man here, one would have flu. A first father, wouldn't me call about chamber. A man no much before. I mean, no much.
Yeah.
Also, share, Jonah saw share for now, who none here to do a my
Steps are welcome.
What's really one and clean now? It is up on auntie, I'm trying to review.
That's right.
And we encourage me, and I pay for the old castle up on auntie. Maybe my auntie bed 2 hours, Mama.
Very good.
Yes, Miss Wellington. Saturday before the other transfer program, my auntie, Mama. And do the breakfast upon auntie out of the bar and my number.
Yeah.
So because we are now upon auntie, and I do you while we are no supreme catra.
Yeah.
So, and the end of the young family addition. Now, the master for the fair. Lawyer, what program, what about to war? During the weeks, what are the programs on be ever to war? Maybe can't follow. But I couldn't go out 2018 as a say. This week you would have told.
That's right.
The same. Because Osha, not a refresh your memory. So, and you must let you what I am a Mandana, and I am a Mandana quantity. Why the weakness of the same here? Because I am summoning man, I'll be to me as your good to
Debbie.
Not a good cheer, they do all go on internet and go offer. No one said to back, no one said, you must let you for extra money to you, won't you? Now, I'm not a parent, so if you want to, I am like a crack. Because website, what they are back, what they are back to, no more fast friend, no more fast is and to measure money to you. Now, I measure, said, I'm saying, who said, I'm way soon over a mile, confess, and all your program, and now you can press you on one of them. I said that I was a woman from Miss Yoga.
It's your fan, I'm the Adoji.
What the other? And you know, and you know, the chairman is here, she got out. Why am I so you met not to power? Why are they? Why am I making you move? I said you when you need. But we will say, what to make try every week, what to make continue about the casa. About what you do.
That's right.
You make a massive because Mama will be good. Was so said you over back.
nyinaa na wode sua ka de yɛne nipa mu yɛ de ɛkasa kɔsɔdu wɔ hɔ kɔturu baabi a anaasɛ ɔkasa wɔ baabi a ɛma wontumi hu how a wobɛtumi ɛne nipa no communicate.
Yes.
Nti no ɛno nso yɛ kind of communication bi ti na bɔ maame no ma so ma yɛ adeɛ pa nyame nhyira no. Lawyer, have a nice weekend.
Likewise. Thank you very much. Yes, Justice alone, I'm watching and canon. Yeah, the movie now must say Fire Life Radio. Justice and Law Facebook, David Darko Facebook. Subscribe to the channels. Every Saturday, we bring you UK law update. This week, I was going to talk a bit about employment, but because of time, I couldn't. Let's take our last caller and bring the program to an end. Hello.
Good afternoon, lawyer.
Hello, good afternoon to you. Now, Pacho did this and I can say free. Rabina, young quay, and the Rabina.
Oh, yeah, I was bring you to my family. I'm sure we are lawyers here. You won't so lawyer. I'm not sure why you can see a palm, my dear, any amount for your man. And cut down with your mom. Come on, and thank out the years and confidential because who are like, you be cut up to my 1 month, 2 months. May be a man, and it's sure what you my lawyer. We are here to do. The as yet, Kakam, one can say, if you are with your program, the whole problem here now, and you know, here, what can we make up? No, because we are lawyer, ma'am. Yaminsa also. You are not having to piano. There's no refuse. There's the money for corner. Refuse for book on our find the money for corner. And it's sure what you want. The cook boy now returns to our young and name or dark woman on your case. So I have a question now. They want to say, if I told them you would just say, British book, naturalization, obey fingerprint.
I obey fingerprint for the naturalization.
Okay. You can patrol your fingerprint area or one of them out naturalization appointment.
Okay. Process ne say obey application no. What your application if you are not submitting. O submit we are now we book appointment for the fingerprint. O your fingerprint in we are. Home Office will then make a decision. Justice and Lord Oba a one touch on be granted. Omo grantee we are. Then you contact the local authority and book appointment for citizenship ceremony. And to attend this ceremony now, I want normally or naturalization certificate ebe show nsem. Ya the show nsem we are Justice and Law we go another talk. Me aside your passport application now. Ya yema so within a month na adena be show nsem. Sana etie. This morning, Miss. No problem. No problem. Why? That's what we be out now. Yes, yeah, that was CP. Bye bye. Mommy Scotland, for you count as an eye. Or see you where they get papa. Slave yacht, yeah, someone else. This one gets massive, that's what they want. Farming go Gigi, farming go. Yes, this is Justice and Law Solicitors. Unit 35B, 49 Emperor Road, Brixton, London. SW2 1BZ. Yes. Oh. What do you try now say? Obi answer. Join me. Say ya. Professor Bewuya, your number is 0207 993 5976 or 07538 969 589. I said, well, whatever I pay wine. Now, I pay wine wild. Well, first, yes, I'm a fan. Near the catchery, near the cat actually. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon to you, sir.
Okay, friend me. Joe,
Mr. Joe from Wembley. Joe, I know that my father can't tell you. But you say, what? I say more. And yes, we are looking at the ways to improve the system into the Gusoma Mumpaba. Kakran, Akoko Benumsu, Akokan will be with me, and we are Bebesre. I know. Sir, Patrick Casa Joe Wembley.
The question here is now follow up on my naturalization. Let me just say, it's already start for British as British citizens, you know. Or Yawu, no, we be any papa Nigeria, and in my mention Nigeria. It's a city when you're settled and the Omega already start out. But also, forms on the bed, one person said, then in current nationality. You know, I say, oh, yeah, passport in man, Nigeria passport in man, and nationality been out of the way for the best show because who the Nigeria show, I bet it's the current Nigerian passport now, and so about it. Who made any saying, who made sickness, and how do you go about that on the form MN1?
We know Anna here like a dark consultation fee of £80, but what dear, and yes, she make a channel. And yes, can be a needy. I know Bias of the should be bottom. Ain't you know by definition, you know, international law just say, regardless of your nationality, over a crown a take the parents' nationality. And therefore, by default, you know, the child is Niger. And we say a crown Nigerian passport, the child does not have a passport. Why? Because the child was born in the United Kingdom and you have not made any passport for him. Period.
Simple.
Simply a tableau. Why? This is your brother Joe from Wembley. I catch on say. Bibi say no. I'm not chambers. Yes, you been tafri o tom. I come here. You never. That's right.
Secondly, Sister yeah, I'm on 2 months and also no. Me remember to be out near a positive by Monday, no.
Oh, thank you very, very much. Share Nyankopon Shirel. Esa wenya ne ho adwenepa. Na obi abeka na real wosem. Na wososo wetie. Na utu ho anamo. The fact kra se wetie utu ho anamo no. Nyankopon Shirel. Hwe ewiase. Brejo. Brejo. Brejo, I make us in Binchel. Bonnie Wailer or Tunyumbi. Or say those that they oppress, they seem to get worse. Obia wafe jebupana onu hu obi ese nipa no ire mobono onu nipa no peso okunu peso di na bromo enti wiase ne won ehu obia ne wafe janimu a onu ohu se de na ya se ne esitie no onya obia no di biye no anasa odege ne krama ne broso na yadwuma we mu yehu bi de bia obitimi be hu na enipa ne dejem na lo ya da congested se lo ya bo nipa no ama ene wonya na so nwie obeti no so de bonini di obi afa what was anu ati shock obeka say enti de ofa mu odi ye obi nti eyema no ade na ono ofa mu na anye ne de no odi ye obi enti David enipa ye complex se wo ofa ejam na bibia ka wakoma ese obi ho akire ese meboa no obi o ho akono ofa ejam no wase memeboa ne benya ne easy wo so be fa the same thing enti ne kromu a Ghana for ye bre no sorry to say this enkrofo bebre wo beto wo ma on be try the right direction no masa on kire wa de pada sebe ebi ono bae adwuma a wo ye no oba o person be ye worse than him and I said wo ye na no abi na be sinyakopon ema wo so na wo pegya wo pe enipa na wo bo na osa wo problem with you obusa said dey na enipa dia ye wa ontimi nka because ahoya eni ani bre boni ni beyie eka wono nko no na nke bia nyakopon apegya ono nko ansisoro na nko bia somo no obi ahye na se ba nyakopon ensawe enye pepepe o sebe entafo mpo a omo free ye frum ba ko mu eba no bia ni suban obi ani ni destiny enti ewiase pe obi yeye na wo dia yeye me afutu ade biam de ma me ho ano no se nyakopon pegya wo nua biam wani nyema no hwa meka sa asem wani se meka bet meka dia example me cousin bi also called German embassy na okwa visa ya fa visa na ama no opie ya wo ko no ana ohia Samuel Oseko for footballer no ye na dey grow up e wo Ashtown ohun no say Jack na do ba be pede ana so Jack for na snow bu mi o me ba be give visa man fa ama me ana say don't worry give me the passport follow me over within an hour get visa na man enti we say die unim baby a unshira be free about bia obi a person odi na brone no bia china on be save life na the fact the price wa dwene ye nua bai ho me bompa so say man de obenya good news amaye na ono so nya na so ndwie wo de enshire be free baby aba no you be surprised eti de bia so bi ona obi a wona mo anu ewu kwa because of Bolivia akodinti obi ososo a bibitimi to no na eso owu enso no survival because of Adrian papa bia oyema obi nti enti ewiase de me fa dwene pa na me akoma pa na me madwuma me ye oba eye opa time opa chiri me what you see is what you get na yakopon so so adum nti enhira no ye koyenim aboroso me ho chire me abon se answer ni free baby aba o sabeti o usesesi e mami frɛ ya ye kan ya sisi ave and say waba forward o say you know what wait for me I'm going to look into this and if say nyankopon ni hu ewiase problem be anywhere any answer and no one is got monopoly over the gospel make me do wachi because also yourself unti because at the end of the day no, we are all going to be judged according to their works ye dwuma ebe ye no and nyankopon be fa so ebu ya ten. Now, at the end of the day, everyone is praying and fighting for salvation. Eti me nsum nipa, me sum nyame. Na de wo ye no so no, nyame na wo ya ma no. The fact is say wetimi adwene nipa ne mpo ho, that alone for me is more than sufficient. Nyankopon enhira. Me so I will look around, I will work my way. Yes sister no, me say at all costs, you be save no. 2 months. Enye kwan, but ekwan be bia ma no se de onya akukuduro timi fresh show we ede na se betu dwa no menim se ye tiefo Nyankopon touch obi a heart be bi obi aye adwuma office kwan da ho bia a o metimi ama ne sponsorship bia no Nyankopon emie kwan ma ye nua ba yi enye easy in life na ewiase no de yam kasa ase no otewa ma wutirim enye kan dwene adwene pa nema wakoma mu enye kan se osefo ni mpo ebobo echechire ehhehye regardless enya woda because of a bia wakoma mu nti enti ewiase do ye bibia dwanadwen pa ba wonua se Nyankopon pagya wonua ma waninye because a bia efi wonua ne so na so etimi apagya na se wonua na ampagya obi be da apagya. Anything a Bruni Becca said, don't cut your nose to spite your face. Say, so maybe Nadia any say. Say, home nation be muno, and they the Yesu Christo deem shedding in a before home. And Tino, Yana Gena pa, Emma Yahona Uniano. Only a course of winning your mano because a beer through that, was a baby quayama. Men twini se men kwa na ese minya me enye nshira ebe yie. Oh yes, eye beye honhom. Na mpese me go too much into theology. Se aka honhom a eye sa beye honhom ni bia. So enti na de bia bo mpa ye se Nyankopon mie kwan ma obia. Na me mpa bo anso me bo ane se do bia so hwehwe no ne nsanka. Apetatu enye easy. So bata no agya ne ma no abobo se no de abetena kromu a. Ufi se no na ene fe. Debi. Bibintia. Na Nyankopon so emani journey no enye wasted journey da. Nyankopon be fa obi so ama kwan na bia ama no. Ama na so wadwo no ama ne maso so aba beka ne nsa. Na ewiase we all start from somewhere. Ewiase obi ani obi mu ani da wo. Eye de obi aboa obi. Enti therefore no ebia this is a turn. Eso bi so boa no. Man bi frame me na o ka se mo osu ofon so. O se lawyer me boa nkrofo saa so me ho kire nyame nye obi ama na boa me. Saa se no kan me so ni bibi me boa. Amon si nyame adom ye so case ni mu ye fight a che se eni me ko yie ma no. Anka o ye lose faith in humanity. And so Nyankopon directing us, we know we bibi go to justice and law. There wo ye no city no koso ye no sa. E be a true that no. Ana eneso so no usu unshira afaso a ebe. Na me be say me preach it too much. Na me twaso wa because me bompa ye say yenu abai. E kwan bi bebie ama no. Na ono so ayede watimi ede assault ne ho out. Na me kokra dom se me boy sa anwum onyamie yedawo onyamie yedawo afia yesimi onyamie yedawo yeni mwase onyamie yedawo sana etie nyame na ne beda no. Yes, nyame yedawo yemfa adofo ne boss anwum yemfa wie program no enwum no ye too powerful. Yemi aba memo ba mu muda wate me se yemfa na nyame na obi bie kwan na ma obefa obi so e de bie kwan na ma enti odi afi ayesi mu yi afi be ye wafe insha Allah la ila la rahabadu rasulullah. Say this is Justice and Law Solicitors, 35B 49 Efra Road, Brixton, London, SW2 1BZ. So we are. Call this number 0207 993 5976 or 07538 969 589. Yes, say ya. Oh.
And It's the glass and a half that makes the taste and a half.